Hi guys, my name is Quiades Labos and I will teach you how to adjusting entries. So, adjusting entries is our journal entries made at the end of accounting period to allocate income, and expenditure to the period on which they actually occurred. This is the similar from journal entry, but this time around ginagawa siya sa end of accounting period para malaman ng kumpanya how much is their expenses and income. Like what I said, accounting period has three types of accounting period. So what is one? First is calendar year, January 1 to December 31, and generally used by the business. Fiscal year, any 12-month period as long as it is not ending in December. Example, April 1 to March 31. And last, natural business year, accounting period ending in lax season. Lax season means the book and when business is hinay kaayo. And there is three types of adjusting entries. Accruals. Accruals contains revenues and expense. So revenues already earned but not yet received, and expenses naman is already incurred but not yet paid. Revenues, there are already rendered the services but hindi pa na-receive ang payment. Expenses naman is already used but not yet paid. Okay? So, deferrals. Revenues received but not yet earned, and expenses paid but not yet incurred. This is the opposite of accruals. There is a advance payment of customers or client, but the company have not yet rendered the service. Then lastly, non-cash expenses. Non-cash adjusting entries such as depreciation expense, doubtful accounts, and etc. Let's start with accrued revenue. Revenue that is recognized but not yet realized. Revenue is already rendered the service but not yet paid. Okay? And adjusting entries, some example of adjusting entries is bet the receivable and income credit. Dapat guys, receivable kay credit yun na siya. Dahil ang income kay debit. I will give you an example transaction. On July 1, 2021, ABC Company rent out its building to a tenant for monthly rent of 12,000 as of December 31, 2021. Tenant has not paid for the month of November and December. So, si ABC Company daw is nagparent their building sa isang tenant for monthly of 12K, but tenant has not yet paid for 2 months for 2 months. December 31, rent receivable debit 24,000 and rent income credit 24,000. Why 24,000? Because tenant did not pay 2 months rent. So 12,000 times 2 months is 24,000. And what I said before, receivable is debit. So rent kasi yung ano dito naka-description. So rent ang dapat ilagay dito. So, and credit income. The example transaction. On October 1, 2021, ABC Company received a promissory note from customer for 100,000 at 5% interest per annum. Assuming that the company uses calendar year method, the adjusting entry would be explanation ani is si company is nagpautang worth 100k under promissory note 5% interest per year. Yung anum guys is year. And they use calendar method means 12 months. So how are we going to compute? So interest principal equals to principal times rate times time. The principal amount is 100, interest rate is 0.5, and 3, which is 3 months, because we're starting on October, November to December. Then divide into 12 months because the company uses a calendar year which is good for 12 months. The answer is 1,250. December 31, interest receivable. Why interest? Because of this. Interest receivable, 1,250. Debit, and interest income credit, 1,250. So, dito na naman tayo sa second example ng accruals, which is accrued expense, also known as accrued liability. Why liability? Because these are the expenses of the company wherein they use it already but not yet paid. Adjusting entries is expense, debit, and payable credit. Example transaction, the company pays salaries every Friday for 5-day work week. The total salaries are 1,050. Assume that December 31, 2021 falls on Wednesday, so the employee will not be paid until Friday. Said that let's assume that the company paid their employees every Friday, 5 days in 1 week. The employee is working and assume the December 31 nagfalls og Wednesday. So ang pagsabot dili daw sila masweldoan bisag ting sweldo na, because sweldo nila is Friday pa. The computation is 150 multiplied by 3 divided by into 5 equals to 90,000. Why 3? Because 3 days, because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is lumipas na kasi 5-day work week and divide into 5 because Monday to Friday has 5 days. So the adjusting entries are salaries expense. Bakit salaries? Because si company nagpay ng salaries. So salaries expense 90,000 and salaries payable debit 90,000. Another example. On August 1, 2021, the company borrowed 300,000 and issued a 6 months promissory note at 7% interest per annum. The principal and interest are payable upon maturity of note, assuming that the company uses the calendar year method. The adjusting entry would be August 1, si company nagborrow ng 300k and issued a 6 months and interest 7% per year. The principal and interest are payable upon maturity of note. Even though naabot na sa December 31, hindi niya babayaran. Babayaran niya pa sa maturity date pa, and they use calendar year method. So computation is interest equals to principal multiply by rate multiply by time. And interest is equal to 300,000 multiplied by 0.07, which is 7%, and multiply by 5 and divide into 12. Bakit 5? Kasi August, September, October, November, December. And why is it 12? Because use the calendar year method. Interest equals to 8,750. Adjusting entries of this is December 31, interest expense debit 8,750, interest payable credit 8,750. So dito na naman tayo sa unearned revenue. Under siya ng deferrals. So, unearned revenue, payment already received by the company but not yet earned. These are advance payment that the company received to his or her client or customer but wala pa na rendered ang service. And there is two methods of adjusting entries in unearned revenues: liability method and revenue method. So, as you see here in top, this is a journal entry. Pakita rin ako ang journal entry para you know to put in journal and adjusting entry. So, example transaction is on August 1, 2021, the company received 150,000 for 6 months rental payments from a tenant. Adjusting entry would be, if we use in liability method, we need to compute first. So 150,000 multiplied by 5 divided by into 6 is equals to 125. Bakit nga ba 5? Because I count the month from August to December. So August, September, October, November, December. Kasi August siya nag-start, guys. So ma-end in December 31. So 5 months. And why 6? Because 150k is good for 6 months. So August 1, in journal entry, cash 150 and unearned rent 150. So we will make in adjusting entry na for December 31, debit unearned rent 125,000, which is this the equals, and rent income 125,000. And to record the earned portion of rent. So ito pa yung nabayaran or na-receive. If we use in revenue method, computation is 150,000 multiplied by 1 divided by into 6 equals to 25,000. August 1, cash 150,000, rent income 150,000 to record the receipt of cash. So this is the journal entry. If we do in adjusting entries, so rent income madedebit na siya kasi ito yung to record the unearned portion of rent. So rent income is 25,000, which is this, and unearned rent 25,000, which is this, to record the unearned portion of rent. But let's move on in prepaid expense. Under siya ng deferrals. And expense already been paid but not yet incurred or used. So it means these are the expenses of the company that is not been paid but not yet used. So there are two methods in prepaid expense, which is asset method and expense method. And this is the journal entry on top, and this is the adjusting entry on bottom. For the asset method again on the top, this is only the basis kung unsa ang magiging adjusting entry. If under asset method, our debit should be prepaid expense and credit cash. So adjusting entry is debit expense and credit prepaid expense. If under expense method, this is the dapat ingon ani ang journal entry. Expense debit and credit cash. And your adjusting entry is debit, prepaid expense, and credit expense. On August 1, 2021, ABC Company paid a 1-year advance rent for 1,220. Adjusting entry on December 31, 2021 would be said that August 1, the company paid a 1-year advance rent for 120,000. Adjusting entry on December 31, 2021. We use in asset method, the computation is 120,000 multiplied by 5 divided by into 12 is equals to 50,000. And this is the journal entry. August 1, prepaid rent 120,000, cash credit 120,000 to record the payment of rent. And if we use in adjusting entry, if we adjust this in December 31, and expense is 50,000 and prepaid rent 50,000, which is the total of this computation. If we use an expense method, 120k times 7 divided by into 12 is equals to 70k. By 7 because this is the month that is not used. So example, January to July. Kasi used na to August to December. So itong 7, ito yung month na hindi used. 12 because it's good for 1 year again. August 1, rent expense 120,000, cash 120,000 to record the payment of rent. And adjusting entries, prepaid rent 70k and rent expense 70k to record the unused portion of rent. Okay. So let's move on to depreciation expense. Under siya ng non-cash expenses. Represent how much of an asset value has been used up. So again, depreciation expense is under contra asset, represents how much of an asset's value has been used up. Kumbaga, how much asset you use. So, transaction. On August 1, 2019, Josie Company purchased service vehicle amounting 350,000. It has an estimated useful life of 10 years and a salvage value of 20,000. So, said that August 1, Jose Company bought a vehicle amounting 350 and they estimated that they will use for 10 years. And after 10 years, kaya pa nila mabaligya og 20k. So mao na ang salvage value, guys. So you're going to compute a straight line method. So depreciation equals to cost minus salvage value divided by into estimated useful life. So ang cost natin is 350,000, which is this, the amount of vehicle. And salvage value yung sinabi ko kanina, yung 20k. And estimated useful life is 10 years. So dahil months pa man ang nilabay, you have to convert 10 years into months. So 10 years multiplied by 12 months, that is 120,000. So 350,000 minus 20,000 is 330,000 divided by into 120 is the monthly depreciation is 2,750 multiplied by 5 months. Bakit 5 months? Because August to December. Count the August to December. August, September, October, November, December. That is 5 months. 5 months. And you have to multiply it, and the answer of accumulated depreciation is 13,750. In adjusting entries, December 31, 2019, depreciation expense 13,750 and accumulated depreciation is 13,750. And the last is the doubtful accounts or bad debts expense. Represents the estimated uncollectible amounts of credit, sales, or revenue. These are expense that the company nagpautang na may na-estimate sila na dili na mabayaran. Ang meaning na is doubtful accounts. So, let's have a transaction. Sansan Company estimates that 2,000 of its credit revenue for the year of 2019 will not be collected. Said that the company ang iyang mga pampautang in the year of 2019 will not be collected. Yung gipangpautang in 2019 is dili na ma-collect. So ang adjusting entries is December 31, 2019, bad debts expense 2,000, allowance for bad debts 2,000. And another transaction is Aloha Company estimate the 5% of its credit revenue for the year of 2019 will not be collected. The receivable of the company on that year is 132,000. So Aloha Company na naipautang na 132k on 2019, they estimated that 5% ato dili na makolekt sa kato ang atong i-compute. So computation is 132,000 multiplied by 5% equals to 6,600. So ang adjusting entries is bad debt expense December 31, 2019, bad debts expense debit 6,600. So allowance for bad debts is 6,600. So this is, guys. So thank you guys sa pagpaminaw, and I hope you will understand. I'm just a student.